Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today I have here with me
Brady Kerperin.
Brady. We go to Blair Oaks together. Of course, you see by the shirt. My first question I want to ask you, I know you have participated in multiple sports. Which ones have you participated in?
Well, I've been in a variety of sports over the years, but during high school, I've played football and wrestling 4 years, and I joined track my senior year as well.
You played a little bit of baseball as well, right?
Yeah, I played baseball from the time I was young to 8th grade, and then I decided it wasn't for me.
You dabbled a little bit. I played baseball for like 3 years, so baseball's fun, but it's not for everybody. One thing I can say though, Brady, we had first semester PE together last year, or first semester this year. You're not too good at basketball.
You'll see even the most athletic wrestlers are horrible basketball players.
There's always something that athletic guys are bad at. So I feel like that's always a trend. There's at least one sport that people are god-awful at.
Yeah.
Basketball is your kryptonite. All right, so of course you did mention wrestling. We'll talk about that first. You did very, very good. I don't have your record on hand, but you lost 2 matches this senior year, and you lost 1 your junior year?
2 my junior year as well.
Okay, so you've only lost 4 matches in your past 2 years. Now, both of those ended up being second place finishes. So I want to ask you kind of how did those seasons go, and then are the second place finishes something that you kind of think about? Is that sting, or is that something that you kind of swept under the rug?
Well, they definitely sting. I'm very competitive, so I never want to lose. But going into my junior year, I didn't really know what to expect. My sophomore year didn't end how I wanted it to. And then I went into my junior year, bumped up a weight class, wrestled 215, and I was only weighing about 195, so I was giving up a lot of weight. And I started doing really well, and I was like, okay, this is the spot for me. So I just stayed there at 215 and ate whatever I wanted for the whole year. And during the regular season, I was kind of killing guys. I went undefeated during the regular season, was looking really good, excited, and I actually beat the guy who I lost to in the state title match the week before districts. So we move on into districts, and I lose a real close one in the district championship to the same guy I went on and lost the state title to that year. And then this year, come back 215 again, and everyone kind of knew that I was second place last year and that I had gotten a lot bigger and stronger. It's coming in weighing about 210. So I felt really strong, really good at that weight class. And during the regular season, I just felt awesome, super confident, rolling guys like nothing. So I was ready to go come districts. And we went to the Willard tournament about a month before districts, and that was a good confidence tournament for me because I hadn't seen a ton of competition until then, and I saw a couple good guys there and just handled business really well. And went into districts, had some good matches, took care of business up until the finals, no problems, and then lost a close one in my finals match to the guy I would lose state title to from Pleasant Hill both years. Different guys. And then state came around. I pinned my first 2 guys in my first 2 matches. Then in my semifinals match, I had a good win. And I went on to my finals match and lost another close one, but lost to a good opponent. And I know that I lost to the best 215 wrestler in the state, so that's good.
How many years did you place?
I only placed my junior and senior year. My freshman year I qualified, but I lost in the bubble match.
All right, so you did mention track as well. So what made you join track this year?
Well, I just kind of decided to do it for fun. I'm preparing for football next year, so I was going to be running on my own anyways, and I decided something that I didn't really work on very often was my top end speed. I usually just work on my explosiveness, so I decided track should help me with that.
What events do you do?
I run the 100 meter.
Just the 100? Just sticking straight to it?
Typically, yeah, just the 100.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, beyond that, it's a little bit far from me. It seems like I'm running forever.
All right, so football, of course, this is your main sport. This is what you're going on to do. Did you have any early playing time your freshman and sophomore years?
Yeah, so actually my freshman year might have been my favorite year of football. I didn't get a whole lot of playing time. I was pretty small. I was only about 145 pounds as a freshman. I would say around 5'10". And, I came in there just excited that I was playing high school football for the Blair Oaks Falcons. I've been watching Blair Oaks since I was a little kid. Me and my dad always went to every single game, no matter where it was. So got in there, and practice one, when we got the pads on, I started just hitting people as hard as I can. So I made some enemies with the seniors because they didn't really like a freshman hitting the crap out of them, but it was a lot of fun for me, and coaches noticed, so I did get on the field for some special teams. And the most memorable moment from my freshman year was during the state championship game. Coming into this moment, I was a little bit down on myself because I was only playing special teams, even though that's pretty typical for a freshman. But I was on the kickoff unit, and I remember flying down the field and just absolutely clobbering a Maryville starter, one of their best players, in the sideline going crazy. And I was like, all right, this is it.
Yeah, you did get some playing time, and I definitely do remember you kind of stirring some trouble. I think Nico was the guy that really took the most trouble. We won't go into too many stories, probably something that we'll keep off camera and in the locker room. But, yeah, we definitely had some trouble as freshmen.
Yeah, I like to cause a little mayhem on the field. It's always been like that.
So your freshman year, of course, and your junior year, you won state. How was that?
Freshman year was a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't get a whole lot of playing time during that state title game. I was on pretty much all the special teams, so I was able to contribute some. But it was just a fun team win. We played Maryville, who we played the first game of the year that year, and we beat them somewhat handily, so it was a nice game. And then come junior year, that was a really special win in that state championship game. As you know, came down to the last second. Seemed like we had a million overtimes. So we had an overtime, or a fourth down call, not an overtime. And this call, there was a penalty, so we had to replay a fourth down like 3 or 4 times. And they were on our 20-yard line, and we were up by less than 1 score. So I was like, I don't know if we're going to get this one. Only a few, like 45 seconds left in the game. I thought they were going to score on us, but we got the fourth down stop. We ran off the field. They called us back. They scored they got a first down. Flag was thrown again. Came back one more time, and finally we got that fourth down stop and won the game.
It was Jace Rackers, actually, that got the pass breakup there. Of course, our co-host, main co-host there.
I remember that very vividly. Yeah.
The hero at the end of the game. That's definitely his shining moment during football, I believe. So, 10th grade year. This one was a little rough, all right? That's probably the worst year of Blair Oaks football in probably the past 10 years. Was that something that was a little troublesome?
It felt very strange because my freshman year, we were 14-1 state champions, and the energy was super high. We were led by a ton of seniors, a ton of really good seniors. And then going into my sophomore year, we had 5 seniors. And there wasn't really a whole lot of leadership there. I love those 5 seniors, great guys. But it was just different because we didn't have any seniors on the field. So we had a ton of underclassmen who had never played before. I think all 11 starters on defense had never started before. So it was definitely different, but it was a lot of fun just getting out there with all those new guys, a bunch of younger guys on the field. And we showed a lot of potential. We lost a few close games. We ended up losing the conference title for the first time in, I want to say, like 15 years. So that one stung quite a bit. I remember after losing to Hallsville to lose that conference title, I actually got water squirted on me by some car passing by on the way out. They were very excited about that game. So that one stung a little bit. But it was a fun season. And then we ended up losing in the district championship to Mexico. And that one was rough. Our quarterback went down that game. Everyone remembers that. He had a bad concussion. And it was super cold outside, snowing. We just got whooped. Everything went sideways. But that rough sophomore year set us up for the next year.
That game against Mexico, it easily plastered them as one of my top 2 least favorite teams. Their student section, when Dylan went down and he was unconscious on the ground, they had seniors in their student section screaming, "You're not that hurt. Get up. You're fine." It was not classy at all. So I haven't recovered on the Mexico train. They're definitely one of my least favorite schools.
Yeah, I'm still a little salty about that one. I remember the TikTok that coach showed us the next year, and that got us all fired up. It was a video of Dylan laying on the ground unconscious, and they put music over it and everything.
It's absolute trashy behavior by them, but it is what it is. You can't really change it. They are high school kids. We do dumb shit. So.
Yeah, from time to time you got to talk a little smack.
So senior year, this is probably one of the best years that you've had. Maybe junior year you can argue that I was a little better. We had a really good season, but we came a little short. Final Four. How was that game against Central? And kind of what's your conclusion for the end of the season?
It was definitely a tough game because we never like to lose, but we did lose to the team who won the state championship. And it was kind of a weird feeling game. At some points I felt like, I couldn't really do anything about the game because it was just deep ball after deep ball. And our front seven was doing a great job. They never sustained any sort of run game on us. They had a couple runs that they broke out. It was mainly just quarterback scrambles off of passes. And other than that, it was just they had 2 stud receivers and a really good quarterback, and they were chucking the ball up and making plays, and they scored a lot of points that way and just won because of that.
They found our school's weakness, and they game planned perfectly. The end of the second half, though, it got a little close there. Came storming back. We were probably down about 20 at halftime, and only lost by, 6 points?
Yeah, it was less than 1 score. We drove down the field with maybe a minute left on the clock, and we're on their side of the field, probably their 40-yard line, and we weren't able to convert a 4th down. It was 4th and 3. We called QB sneak, and they stuffed it.
I did have to give Tyler props after that game as well because, as the whole fan base was, we were a little skeptical about, Tyler coming in. We had that whole entire hair bloodline going for about 10 years, and then you've got this new kid coming in. And, as a young guy does, he didn't play very well in the first 3 games, but then something just kind of clicked in Boonville, and it ended up being a really good season for him. I think he could play Saturdays.
I think so too. He's got a really big size. He's 6'3" already. He'll probably grow more. Long arms, big hands. He's got a good arm on him, and he's comfortable in the pocket, and he's fast. He can scramble. Coming into the season, a lot of people doubted him, but he did an awesome job.
Yeah, shout out Tyler. Big season.
Yes, sir, Tyler.
He's going to do big things in the next 2 years as well. So I want to ask you, do you have any stats possibly?
Yeah, so my junior year, I broke the school record for single-season tackles. I had 157 tackles on the year. And then I also broke the single-game tackle record for Blair Oaks with 21.5 tackles in the state championship game. That was definitely one I remember. And then I tied a Misha record for most tackles in the state championship game as well that year. And my senior year, I beat the career tackle record by 70, and I ended my season with over 400 tackles.
400 is absolutely insane.
Yeah, for playing pretty much 3 years, yeah.
So it's very obvious then. We'll transition into your personal credentials. Your junior and senior year, you got Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. Class 2 in our junior year and Class 3 in our senior year. So that's pretty big. There's only 5 other dudes that get that credential in the other classes. So you are very exclusive to that. And so, a late congratulations on those 2.
Thank you.
So I do want to keep talking about credentials, though. You do have academic All-States, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have I've gotten academics All-State my junior and senior year in both wrestling and football.
That's very big. We don't really talk about academics when it comes to D1 athletes because, normally it's just what you can do on the mat, on the court, on the field. Nobody really cares about the classroom, but academics are very important for athletes.
For sure, and it keeps my mother happy.
Anything to keep mom happy. So I want to ask you, before we transition to talking about college, what was your favorite position to play besides linebacker?
My favorite position to play besides linebacker was probably fullback. We had a package that went by a variety of names. Those I should probably not name because they're a little bit explicit. But we just call it big boys on the field when we were trying to be not rated R. So this is basically where we put the big boys in, and I played fullback, and it was just a power formation, wishbone. And when it came short yardage and we just needed 1 or 2 yards, I got to stick my head in there and take the ball and just absolutely pound into the back of our O-lineman and drive forward. And that was definitely my favorite position. Might have been more fun than playing linebacker, honestly.
Do you hope to kind of maybe persuade your coaches into letting you play fullback 1 or 2 times? Maybe your senior night you get in for a touchdown.
Yeah, I already talked to the offensive coordinator of the Air Force Academy, but I don't know that he liked that idea. So
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So let's transition into college. Of course, we talked about Air Force. I want to ask you, what was your recruiting process like?
So my recruiting process was probably a lot different than most Division I athletes. I was pretty undersized my freshman and sophomore year, and really my junior year too. So I didn't get recruited at all until after my junior year of football, which is not typical for Division I. Usually they start recruiting you after your sophomore year and during your sophomore year. But I had a great junior season, finished with that 21 tackles in the state championship game, and pretty much like a week later, I was like sitting there all mad because, I just got Missouri Defense Player of the Year, had this good season and been working my butt off for years now, and I wasn't getting any looks at all. And I was like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, pretty much overnight, it was like I got a ton of looks. So within a week, I remember getting calls from like 5 different Division I colleges, and the week before, I wasn't getting talked to by anyone. So that was nice.
So what schools offered you?
So I had a few different offers from good schools I considered. I picked up a preferred walk-on from Mizzou. I got offered by Air Force, SEMO, Northwest Missouri State, Missouri Western, Pitt State, and a few others.
All right, so why Air Force?
I liked Air Force because there's such a brotherhood there. When I went and visited other schools, it seemed like some of them had that brotherhood. They really played for each other, and then some of them really didn't. It was just all about getting your own. When I went to Air Force, their number one thing is the Bullet Brotherhood. And it was all about playing for each other, playing hard physical football. Defense is what I like. They're going to do a ton of blitzing. They're going to go play press coverage, and they're going to try and get after the other team.
Was the military something that you had already been looking into, or is that kind of something that just came along with getting that offer from Air Force?
Well, the military was something that I considered before I was going to play football. And then once I decided I was going to college to play football, I pretty much X'd that out. And then when Air Force came along, and the other military academies as well, I kind of saw the best of both worlds there. So it was nice that I was able to incorporate both.
The paths kind of crossed there. All right, so Brady, I want to ask you, while you are at the Air Force Academy, what career path and major are you going into?
So as of now, I'm planning on studying economics, and I'll graduate with a minor in engineering as well, because all cadets graduate with their major and an undergrad. And then I'd like to get my pilot's license while I'm there, so that'd be fun. Maybe I could squeeze myself into an F-17. That'd be really cool, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll just see how it goes along the line. And then I'd also like to do a little bit of jumping out of planes.
Jumping, all right. I want to ask you, back to the field now. Are you looking for a little bit of early playing time?
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to play as early as possible. I've been doing a lot to prepare this spring, putting on some weight, and they are not going to redshirt me, which is a good sign. So for the military academies, they don't actually redshirt. They send you to a JUCO school. But I'm going direct, which is nice because typically the majority of Division I athletes, majority of Division I football players, they get redshirted. So the fact that I'm not makes me think that I definitely have a chance to get on the field somewhere, that be special teams or any capacity. I'd be excited to do anything.
I do want to ask you, it's a little bit of a hot topic, all right? EA College Football 25. Are you looking forward to that, and are you hoping to get your name in that game?
Heck yeah, I'm super excited for that. I don't know exactly how that's going to work with the military academies, but we will be in the game. I don't know if our names will be on the jersey or not, but the numbers will be correlated with our stats still.
All right. I did hear, though, that military academies won't get the, was it $800?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was a few $100s cash and then a free copy of the game. We won't receive that, which is fine, but the main part that I'm looking forward to is just being able to play myself in a video game.
Right. All right, our final question, Brady. Of course, a burning question. You're going to college for football. Is it a chance that you'd like to go professional?
Absolutely. My end goal is National Football League, whether I'll get there or not. It's hard to say. Super competitive, but that's obviously my goal. If I don't, that's fine. Just whatever life has planned for me. But I'm going to try super hard over the next few years, try and get as big, strong, fast as possible, and advance my play. If I do get a chance to, maybe make the NFL or even CFL or now the UFL, that'd be super fun.
UFL is very interesting. It's an inaugural season. We had the USFL and the XFL last season. Now they merged, and we've got the St. Louis team. So I know you probably have your eye on that a little bit.
Yeah, the new UFL league's super exciting because for many years, we've all been looking at like the CFL and then like XFL, USFL, and they're all somewhat feeder leagues to the NFL, but none of them were super strong. But now that they've combined the XFL and the USFL and created kind of this super league, it's nice because they're really going to give guys an opportunity to get noticed and make their way to the NFL if they deserve it.
I agree. And there's this indoor league that's kind of getting a little bit of looks now. It's getting a little popular. It kind of looks a little scary because it's like in a hockey rink.
The arena football, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a new league that it's weird. Like it's a really small field, and it's almost like a hockey rink, and then it's got like probably the barriers are like to your waist. It is very similar to arena leagues, of course, but I've been seeing these highlights of dudes going out for passes and they're hitting the barriers and like landing on their heads. It kind of looks scary, but it's a little intriguing.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of those leagues, and it looks like a lot of fun. They all look like they're having a blast out there, and the fans look like they're enjoying it too. But it is a little scary playing with that arena around it.
I feel like you'd be an insane linebacker in that league. Being the really small width of the field, you'd be anywhere in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not hard to cover the whole length of the field there.
You'd be concussing some guys if you're in that league, I think.
Absolutely.
So, Brady, that's all we've got for today. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You were the second person to promise coming on the show. I know it took a little bit to get you on the show. We had a few schedule mishaps that we kind of delayed it a little bit, but here you are, and I think that was a pretty good interview.
Let's go Missouri Sports Talk, baby.
All right. Thank you very much. Handshakes right here. Thank you, Brady. That's all we got for today. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.